Welcome back to episode 4 of the Double Down podcast presented by Waterwave. Today is Friday, October 7th, and I'm in the studio by myself today because our guest is coming to you guys from Zoom all the way from Fargo, North Dakota. Today's guest is a 2018 graduate of Robbinsdale Cooper High School, a 4-year letterman, and a 3-year starter, a 2-time all-conference and special teams player of the year. He led the Cooper Hawks to a 9-1 record and a section championship in 2017. The North Dakota State wide receiver is now in his 5th year in Fargo, where he racked up 3 national championships already, and now it is in his senior campaign towards a 4th national championship. A very special guest and a personal friend of mine, Phoenix Sproles.
Yo, what's going on, Parker?
Happy to have you on with me here on the podcast. Definitely a dude where I've been watching your story, watching you come up. So let's start there. Let's start high school, Cooper High School. Did football come early to you? I know you played basketball, played some other sports. When did you know that, football kind of was your thing?
Honestly, probably the year I started playing. So age of 9 is when I started tackle football, and when I scored my first touchdown, I knew that feeling. Like I craved it, like I wanted more of it, and I knew I couldn't stop. So, yeah. So now I'm 22 years old, still playing, still scoring touchdowns. The feeling I can't get over.
Yeah, still the same. I mean, I'm the same way. It's I think for athletes, when you have that initial feeling and you feel it at a young age and you still love to feel, I think that's the fuel that drives it, and that's the recipe for success. So, talk about high school. Obviously we listed off your all your awards, and you guys obviously had a pretty good team. How was your experience? Is it something you look back at it and it shaped you, or is it something that is not as big of a part of your journey or your story?
No, yeah, I think it was a huge part. Freshman year, didn't really obviously know I was a good football player, but didn't know really what my ceiling was or how good I could be. Did my freshman year football season. We might have lost one game, I think, on the freshman team, and then I got moved up and dressed for varsity, whatever. Didn't play, but it was still dressed, so I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Um, then after that freshman football season, I actually tore my ACL playing pickup basketball at Lifetime Fitness. Was by myself, just going up for a layup, rolled my ankle, and clean ACL tear. So that set me off. I didn't play sophomore year of high school, and then played junior year and senior year. So, I mean you didn't hear a lot of guys that tore their ACL when they were 14 years old or 15 years old. So it was kind of weird. And that was kind of like a tough time because I had a previous big injury. I believe my rotator cuff in 6th grade. That was a 7th month recovery, so I had an open surgery there. That was a major surgery. Then had another major surgery. Two surgeries in already. I'm under 15 years old, so I was just in a tough spot in high school my sophomore year. But got healthy. Had some good people in my corner, family and doctors and rehabilitation services. Um, Bounced back and had a breakout junior season. So it all kind of came full circle. And that junior season is when I really realized that I could play ball. I knew it, like I said, I knew I was good, but I didn't know how good I could be. And everything just seemed kind of easy for me. Just making people miss, scoring touchdowns, and I played defense as well, making hard hits, interceptions. Everything was just clicking for me. And then rolling into senior year, everything went my way. Broke my hand, so played receiver with a cast on one of my hands, but still made it work. And had over, I want to say, I think I had 19 Division I offers, from Ivy League to FCS to University of Wyoming in Northern Illinois, and ended up going with NDSU. Obviously, the winning background that NDSU had, it was hard to say no. So that's where kind of college started.
Yeah, that recruiting process, I think it's so unique for, especially a guy in your shoes where you had injuries when you were younger. That's not even the injury we're going to talk about on today's podcast, but a background of injuries. So, I think, me being through 2 knee surgeries, and you being through them as well, I feel like you kind of, get the flow of things, and you going through a more major one when you're younger, you don't hear about that all the time. And that's actually, I actually remember that, but it wasn't even the one we're going to talk about. But so let's move on to college. The recruiting process happens, you say, the winning culture, that's really what brought you to NDSU. Where was your mindset at? Where was your head at, coming into to the fall? You got to move up to school early. You got to move up to Fargo, a new location, all that kind of stuff. Like, where was your mindset at? Because I know you're a confident guy, and every athlete has to be confident in their abilities, but there's still this, North Dakota State just came off a national championship. How is this freshman kid going to come in and provide minutes for this team? Where was your attitude? Where was your mindset at there?
Yeah, that was obviously everyone's super duper excited to get to college. Like you want to be the guy on campus, you want to make a good impression, and kind of so we came in the summertime. Everyone else that you went to high school with is still in Minnesota doing high school things because no one has to report to college already. So I'm gone, and that's kind of where things just started. So I'm obviously trying to prove myself, what I can do, and they kind of told me early on that it's potentially that you're going to be a true freshman and you're going to have to play for us as an 18-year-old, which was scary. Call it what you want, but being told you're going to play with 22-year-olds, 21-year-olds that are national champions, some guys, obviously don't make it happen. So it's kind of hard. It was kind of hard hearing that, but it also was like a big sign of relief. Like, okay, they see something in me. Um, not especially at NDSU, we do kind of traditionally we redshirt a lot of guys who like to build up the classes and get everyone stronger, and just kind of how we do things at NDSU. So it was kind of unheard of to be a true freshman right away. But I came in, did whatever I could, blocking a couple passes here and there. So I didn't really make too much noise as a freshman. But that's where my confidence kind of started because I started getting more and more comfortable playing against these older guys, these good guys, these good other teams that we played in the Missouri Valley. And that rolls into sophomore year, which was my breakout year, 2019. And that's just when things were just clicking. That was Trey Lance. Obviously, you know who he is, and obviously for the people that don't know who he is, he's was my quarterback here at NDSU, my best friend, and currently the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. And man, we were roommates all throughout college. Without him, we both talked about quitting almost every day our freshman year. That was just a tough time, and we both we stuck it out. We had each other's back, and to this day, I'll forever have his back because of the things that we went through together. In 2019, we took off. The whole team, everyone was clicking. We were undefeated, 16-0. I don't even know how we played 16 games, but 16-0. Trey's first year starting, my first year playing kind of real minutes, you could say. Like I was actually doing some stuff out there. Christian Watson, who's in the NFL, for people that don't know, Christian was a receiver here, got drafted by the Packers second round in the past draft. Jimmy Kaporis, and then defensively Jabril Cox, the guys, Dallas Cowboy. I don't know, we were stacked. We had everyone, everything was clicking. And that was probably my personally my best year, and just the year that I kind of knew like, okay, this is what I want to do, and I kind of proved it that season.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had all these notes listed and you hit them all, but I mean, you make that big jump and you increase your stats and you're, an instant impact player. Those kind of emotions going through your head, like, obviously you're on a high, right. And then COVID hits. And you guys, when in the the FCS, you only end up playing one game that fall. And, fortunate enough, I was actually at that game. My best friend, Andy Vorian, was one of your teammates. So I actually took the trip up to Fargo, made the trip up there to see you guys play. Take us through kind of, we haven't really hit on the COVID emotions yet for athletes. What was, especially for you guys in a unique situation where you only get to play one fall game and you're aiming that this, this virus goes away, that so you can play a spring season. How did the locker room feel? How'd you personally feel? You see some of these other, Power Five programs getting to play a full season. Like, how did that impact, the guys in the locker room? How did it impact you personally?
Man, it was just a lot of, like you said, just a lot of uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
We were in fall camp, getting ready for a season, and then that's when they made the decision for FCS that there wouldn't be a season. So the guys that were seniors, some of them actually were done with that was their last year of football. They were done. They went home. Guys went on to go to jobs and do grown adult things. Like their college career was over. So we had a big meeting when that day came. Guys were crying. The seniors, obviously, we talk a lot about going out the right way at NDSU, and that's most likely a national championship. Being on the table at Frisco, just seeing all of our fans, and those guys didn't get to do that. So it was a sad time. And so yeah, we were told we didn't have a season. I think a week or two later, we were told that we had one game. We got a team wanted to play us. They said, whatever, we'll make it happen. We said, whatever, we'll make it happen too. Ended up being Central Arkansas. They came to us, so this would be Trey's last game that he played in, because that was technically his third year playing that the NFL. You have to play 3 years of college football. So that was Trey's last game. And so yeah, we were just all like super duper hyped. You know, we had just we would have played it one game. It didn't matter who we were gonna play. We just wanted to play football. So we had that one game, and unfortunately, I was making a block for my running back, and running back got tackled and ran into the back of my leg. Boom, tore my meniscus. In the one game of the season that didn't really mean anything. So I kind of went through a lot of things there. But yeah, I was out for 6.5 months, and had to bounce back.
Yeah, take us through those things. I think that's something we really want to dive into here. Let's talk about, the initial response. Like I said, it's one game. You got to be super jacked. Everybody's excited. You get to play one game, especially in a football world where it's like you guys haven't played for 7, 8, 9 months maybe. And it's like you've just been lifting and working out and enduring the cold winter of Fargo, North Dakota. Like how was, obviously you're excited to play, but you go down, take us through like right away, because I remember it. Honestly, I was writing up the script for this podcast, and I gave me back to emotions. I was like, oh no, Phoenix is down, like, and obviously it wasn't good. I remember you laying there on the field, and I was like, oh, this might not be good, and seeing your family there and all that kind of stuff. Like, what was your first thoughts? Like, where'd your head go right away?
So immediately I knew my knee was messed up. Obviously, I've torn my ACL. I've had my fair share of injuries, so I kind of knew right away that knee was definitely done for. And it was a high ankle sprain and a torn meniscus. So my foot felt like I broke my foot or my ankle, and my knee was just throbbing. And initially, I was just like I'm done. Like, because like you hear a lot of times when an athlete gets one knee surgery nowadays is whatever. Two knee surgeries, it's a little more iffy. So I was just like man, like the next level, they're not gonna want me. Like I have two knee surgeries as a receiver. Um, am I gonna be the same again? Am I gonna be fast? Am I gonna lose speed? Am I gonna even have a spot next year? Blah blah blah. There were so many things flying through my head while they were checking me out. Um, yeah, it's just so hard because as an athlete, when you go down, everything you go back to square one, especially in college. My worst fear was getting injured in college because obviously there's guys that are good, or some guys might be better than you, and they move up to those spots that when you're injured you can't perform, so someone else has to obviously play for you. So I was just my spot's gone. Um, like how am I gonna bounce back? I gotta bounce back quickly as possible. Blah blah blah. So there's just so many things going through my head, man. I like it was honestly it was a long night, and then on top of that, Trey was leaving. So my best friend, we have a 2 bedroom. He was leaving to go train for the NFL. So it's not like I had him to help me out and do whatever for my knee and whatnot. So it was a tough time.
Yeah, I think it's such a crazy, mind frame to be in. I tell a lot of people, like you said, in a second injury where you did something wrong. Like my first injury, I knew something was iffy, but I didn't know I didn't know I'd torn something for sure. My second one, I was like, oh, I know something's torn in there, like you said. And it's crazy how different emotions they come from every direction, and they come so fast, and it's like, you explain 15 different things in a matter of 5 minutes, and it's true. It's true. It's like you can't even explain it to people that don't get it, but it's like, the different emotions you're feeling, and they overwhelm you and they flood you, and you want to see your family, but you also don't because you're scared, and all that kind of stuff. Is that something that you went through? Is like, you get on that training room table, they're checking out your knee, like that, those are the emotions you felt?
Yeah, 100%. So my mom, she's a nurse, and she knows whatever. She knows everything. She knows when something's not right. As soon as she walked down the stairs, she found her way to the training room. I don't know if it was legal or not. She found her way to the training room, and as soon as she turned the corner, we made eye contact. I started bawling because she knew that something wasn't right. She just knows when I'm hurt. And my dad came down, my stepdad came down, stepmom, and just everyone, brothers and sisters, everyone came down because they knew. It sucked that it was a game that didn't really mean anything. Obviously, it was an opportunity to play another college football game, which I would never. Till this day, I don't regret playing.
Yeah.
Always, whenever I have an opportunity to play, I'm gonna play. I know you're the same way. We don't turn down. We're competitive. We don't turn down games. So I'll never take that game back. Um, Obviously, it's just unfortunate that game didn't mean anything. So it kind of just messed me up that year.
Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy, especially when your family gets in there and it's like that breakdown is for me the hardest. Like I don't want to speak for your name, but like when you see your mom, when
I,
you see your dad, when you see your family, it's like, oh my God, it's like it's one of those things I think almost, when I think back to my injuries, like you almost don't want to tell them, but like you still do because you want them to, give you that love. And is that something you kind of felt, explain that kind of does.
I was trying to hide it for a little bit, and then I just told my mom like it's torn, and she was like, "I know," because she knows I wouldn't be crying that much if
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And it's just you can't really just. It's like you're like a little kid again, like crying. There's nothing. I'm not gonna hold it back. I didn't try to hold it back. If I'm gonna get one good cry out, it's gonna be with my mom or my family because I know that obviously they know how much the game means to me and how much obviously I put into getting ready for that game or even in college or just being in that position to play college football. So they knew when that knee injury happened, they knew had a big impact on me.
Yeah, and that raw emotion is so real. And I think it's, something that for anybody that's listening to the podcast that's going through something like take your time, allow yourself to feel those emotions because if you don't, you're only going to be battling them and fighting them through rehab. And I think, and I won't speak for you, but you have to have a clear mind through rehab and you have to be able to set all your worries and everything aside and you realize like I'm at square one again and that's fine. It's okay. I'm going through it right now. It's okay. And it's like so if I have to, kind of is that something that you felt as well? Give that little bit of advice to young athletes out there.
Man, I mean, you hit it on the head. I think I remember, I think even texting you when you did it your first, maybe both times actually.
Yeah.
That's the worst part is rehab because it's just you versus you every day. Like it's like what new thoughts am I gonna find that are gonna mess me up today? Like I go on Twitter, I see a receiver just had 200 yards, and I'm like, man, like why not me? Like why does this have to happen to me? Like I'm over here grilling myself. I'm over here comparing. I'm over here thinking like I'm not gonna be the same. It's the worst thing. So just like you said, you have to have a clear mind. Like it is so hard. Like I missed a game 2 weeks ago, South Dakota, battling hamstring. Like it's hard because it's like you have to let it. You have to take time. You have to rehab. You have to do those things. And like I've been through it, and it sucks so bad. But you can't get in your own head. That is the worst thing you can do. If there was a pill that you could take that would just keep you away from getting in your own head, I would have took it for every single injury I've had. But that's just not how we're made. So and that's a big kind of a big um, reward you could say that I think us athletes have is we have to be able to get out of our own head when we're doing rehab and things like that. So to all my athletes out there, whoever's listening, like I commend you because that it is hard. I'm fortunate that I haven't had any crazy like ACL is obviously crazy, but it's something that's really common nowadays. So it's not nothing. I'm not going to die from it or anything. So anyone that's going through that harder stuff, I commend you and just keep pushing.
Yeah, so obviously you talked about going back to the story. Your parents are in there, you get the MRI, all that kind of stuff. You figure out what's going to happen. You go and get surgery. Initial emotions right out of surgery. How do you feel physically, mentally? Where are you at?
So for both my ACL and my meniscus, it was just I want to get back. Like I want to like what can I do today to get rehab started? So like legless, I'm sure you already know straight leg or actually I'm sorry, the first thing you do is try to bend it, which is the worst part. I thought it was the worst. Like when my mom told me that, I thought she was lying to me. I thought I was gonna tear it again. She's like, no, you have to bend it. I'm like, all right, and it's just click, 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 click. I'm like, this is scary. Like I've had to like yeah, honestly, it's a humbling experience. Like I had to learn how to walk and run twice in my life. Obviously, you're going through the same thing. Like you have to relearn. You're like a toddler again. You got to learn how to walk and run. So you're just flooded with emotions. It's like, what do you want to do? Like, you can either choose to grind or you can choose to be sorry for yourself. So initially out of surgery, I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, where's my rehab sheet? What are we doing today? And obviously, first couple of weeks, you can't really do much except ice and elevate and pee. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, just raw emotions.
No, yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, I feel the same thing. It's like you have to do these things that you're like, oh God, that's not possible. Like, how do I even do that? And for anybody listening that's going through that, you just you gotta trust it. You gotta trust the process. I think it's a kind of a cliche thing to say, Joel and B kind of thing, but it's true. You have to be able to take a step back and realize, which I think is one of the hardest things too. And I go through it every single day in practice, is to just look out there and realize that I can't be a part of that. In your case, you go on and you miss nine games, right? You miss 9 games that you guys end up playing in the spring because you guys have a spring season. Take us through that, man. Obviously it's tough. That's beside the point. But where was your head at? Where was your mental health at? And through that whole process, because obviously knowing you're a great teammate, you're a guy that's always looking out for your dudes. And I feel like I'm the same way, being around the program, you want the best for your team. But selfishly as an athlete, you have to have that competitive, like I want to be out there kind of thing, and that takes a toll on your mental health. So how did you, tell us, where your mental health was at, and how did you kind of, propel yourself to get over that? Is there people in your life that helps, books, faith, like where was your process at missing those games and watching your teammates play?
Man, I was obviously excited for my guys to play. Whenever they made plays, like I was there cheering, jumping. I was finally cleared to jump when this
Yeah.
time. Just obviously whatever I could do to be there for those guys. But honestly, I struggled every single day. I had to fake it. You're probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But you got to carry that smile. Um, those fake claps, obviously they're real from us, but like you're still clapping, but you're still in your head, just like why did this happen to me? So, man, I struggled every day because every day was the same thing for me. It was wake up, struggle to get some food. I couldn't lay bare for 7 months, so I had to crutch and get my food, whatever. Rehab some more, schoolwork. Like school doesn't stop either. So you don't want to do school. Like you just want to rehab and take care of yourself. But you still have school. Like obviously things don't stop. So um, I struggled, man. It was a dark time because obviously in college, like when you're younger, you have your parents are around to pick you up and drop you off places. Um, you have your rehab, your doctor. You see the same rehab person all the time at the doctors, whatever you do. College is a little bit different. Obviously, you have trainers and people that care about you, but I mean, you kind of are on your own though. Like it's really up to you how much you want to work. They're not going to beg you to come in, so it's kind of like some days where you feel kind of crappy. It's like gotta get up, gotta make it happen, gotta go to rehab. You might be the only guy in the rehab room early in the mornings. That was the worst part. I'm in there trying to work my butt off, and I'm in there solo. Um, it's like I said, it's like it's you versus you. It's how great do you want to be that day? And that was 6 months, a long 6 months of that, and even after, because you still got to take care of. You can't just magically be back to normal, so you still got to take care of your body. So and that even goes until today. Like I'm still like doing extra things where I'm just still in my head and still doing my own rehab stuff like that. So um, yeah, just like you said, man, just watching those games, watching those guys, and just wishing I was out there. Um, you only can control what you can control, so I couldn't do too much about it. Struggled, but we maintained. Like you said, faith is a huge part. I'm a Christian, and man, God, every time He never fails. You don't understand why things happen. You just got to roll with the punches and just know there's a bigger plan. Don't know when that plan's coming. This is another part that's frustrating at times, but something's always in the works. So just got to keep pushing.
No, and it's true. Whether you're a man of faith or not, I firmly believe that there is a plan out there, and it's something that I had to tell myself too. And it's there's a plan out there for me. There's something out there for me. I might not be able to see it right now, but there really is. And people that are listening, that it's true. There's real plans in your life, and it's something that's hard to overcome. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they're like, how are you? And I was like, I'm good. Like, how are you really? And I was like, I literally replied, and I was like, I'm always going to tell you I'm good. I'm a 10 out of 10. That other answer is my own answer. Is that something that you kind of went through too, that own personal battle? I talk about wanting to look good for your teammates and wanting to look strong. And I feel like you have to do that. But you're also dealing with your own personal mental battles. Is that the way you approach it? Tell everybody I'm good, but at the same time, it's like, it's deep in there.
Bro, you're spot on. It's every day, every day. Like I'm always comparing. I'm always wishing that I could be doing this or doing that. So every day it's like, are you good? I'm like, yeah, like I'm straight. Am I really? excuse my language, but hell no, fuck no. Like, obviously we go through a lot, man. I think internet and social media is the number one. Like that makes everything 10 times worse because you see everyone else doing these cool things, and you're like, just I mean, I'm repeating myself, but just why me? Like I could be doing this. Like why isn't this me? Blah blah blah. So like you're never good. But I'm working. I'm getting better because I'm getting out of my head. I'm comparing myself less to people. I'm just finally able to say I'm focused on my own journey, which took me a long time to do. Just like not everyone makes it to the league. Not everyone's a first rounder. Not everyone's gonna get drafted. Like I might have a completely different, and I might be in the European League. I don't know. Like I don't know what's gonna happen. So you just gotta take your own journey as it is. Like you can't go about your life like you're like the other person's going about their life is because you guys are two different lives and you guys have two different paths.
Yeah, and I think, my trainer would always say, jealousy is such a thief, being able comparing yourself to somebody else's journey, especially in your shoes where you got, a guy like Christian, second round draft pick, you got receivers all around you who are, excelling and then, you have this injury and it brings you down. It's such a, it's such a battle in your own head that people don't even understand and people don't get, but it's like, you almost like don't want them to understand and get it because it's like even if they do, what's the point? First of all, you're not gonna be able to help my injury get better, and second of all, this is a battle me versus me. So you talk about those days being in the training room alone. I don't know if it's for you, but for me, those are my favorite days because it's like I'm in there and I'm gonna work my ass off to get better, and it's on my shoulders. Is that something that you kind of felt through? All your recovery processes. It's like that me versus me kind of thing. Is that something that kind of fueled you?
100% because like I see like I was watching my quads. Like I had no quad after my ACL and even after my meniscus. I think that might have been worse because I was non weight bearing for so long. So I had no quad, and then obviously as a month or so passes, and I'm still in the training room grinding by myself. I'm seeing my quad muscle coming back, and actually my meniscus quad is actually bigger than my other quad. So kind of just seeing that just kind of kept motivating me. Like, okay, like just keep working things. Like things are working out. Started cutting, started running. So like those, like you said, like those one-on-one days in the training room, it's like how good can you be that day? And I would progress every single week, every single month. I was squatting more. My balance. I was being able to balance on one leg for more than 2-3 minutes, whatnot. So yeah, that I think that was my number one motivation was myself and just being in there alone and just realizing like no one's gonna do the rehab for you. Like it's on your shoulders.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got to do it, and you did, and you get through that kind of stuff. Take us, you tapped into a little bit earlier the hamstring going on right now. Take us into this year. Tell us about what's going on this year, and the hopes for this year. Obviously, at NDSU, it's a championship or bust kind of culture. You guys want to win it all every single year. Take us through that. Take us through this year, the squad, and as we can kind of wrap up here.
Yeah, so we're 4-1 right now. Um, Man, I mean, we look good. We look good. We obviously have things to work on, and no one's ever perfect. Still, only not even halfway through the season yet. But personally, like I'm obviously not. For me, I'm not doing what I think that I'm capable of doing. I think I've left some things out there and got some things to improve on. But was battling a hamstring strain that put me out a week. Um, and that's just part of it. Like it was random. No one was guarding me, just running a route in practice, and it just strained it before the University of Arizona game, and actually played the Arizona game with the strained hamstring, and then I finally sat out because I wasn't going to miss that game because that's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm doing okay right now. I have obviously a lot to improve on as a receiver, and just gonna take whatever's given to me, make the most of my opportunities, and then as a team, we want to win our conference is always the first goal, and then obviously the national championship is our second goal. We're gonna try and get there. Got to go undefeated in the Valley right now, and then obviously chase those pro dreams. We'll have some time to work out and get my body right and chase those professional dreams in March, I believe.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. And obviously, if you guys aren't listening and aren't tuning into NDSU football, make sure you go do that because I've been to one game and it was a COVID crowd and it was special and they're doing some pretty exciting things up there. So, I want to thank you, Phoenix, for coming on the podcast, sharing a little about your story. I think the point of this story is, this journey through this podcast is to talk about each individual story. And, if you can take anything from each individual story, please do that. Please reach out, either me or Phoenix. And I'm sure Phoenix would love to talk to young athletes about injuries and that kind of stuff. And know that this battle this personal battle is something that should make you smile. It should make you happy. It should make you wake up in the morning and want to battle and get better every single day. So thank you, Phoenix, for coming on the podcast. But that's it. That's it for episode 4 of the Double Down podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Episode 5 will hit next Friday. Episodes dropping every Friday on across all platforms. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere you find your podcast. And thank you. It's been Parker Fox, and we're out. Peace.
Appreciate it, Parker.
Yes, sir.